Hi, Andrew here. Continuing our series on defensive pistol ammunition gel testing, lots of viewers have requested some short barrel 45 auto gel testing. To that end, I got hold of a Springfield Armory 45 XDS. So today we're going to test some HSM 200gr UHP, that is Unicor hollow point. The projectile's made by Speer and has a lot of similarities with a gold dot, but it is not technically a gold dot. Let's get out to the range and take a look.
Okay, so you should have been able to predict that they would expand nice and large and uniform, because the Unicor hollow point is pretty close to the same thing as a gold dot, and of course it ought to do really well in bear gel. Even really crappy hollow points do well in bear gel. However, it does have significant difference in penetration at first glance. This stopped well short of this one, but the track actually goes to almost the same depth. So this first shot came to rest at 11.2 inches, but the track goes to 14.7, and the second shot went to 15.2. In both cases, big, huge expansion. Like I said, that's not surprising at all. Of course they can do well in bear gel. Now I'll get a better photo for you when we get home. But one thing to take note of here is how there's still a fair amount of deep hole inside of this cavity. That indicates that it's not really full expansion. So we'll see how this does against the heavy clothing. That could be the kicker for this one. A short barrel 45 is right on the edge of the ability to work well, but 200 grains is moving a little faster than a 230 grain. There's a lot of give and take in this one. It's hard to predict. We'll see how it does.
Alright, so in bear gel the performance was textbook perfect. There is absolutely nothing here to be desired. This is exactly what we're looking for. It didn't just barely meet the 12-inch standard, and it didn't come close to exceeding the 18-inch standard. It nailed that 14 to 16-inch sweet spot absolutely perfectly, and of course 100% weight retention. There's nothing to complain about here. And that's pretty impressive for being a sort of bulk reloading type bullet, not really their premier top of the line flagship defense bullet. But as always, the heavy clothing test often separates the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. So we're going to get back out to the range. We're going to see how this does through 4 layers of denim.
Well, like I said, I wasn't sure, but I can't say I'm surprised. So this is where both of the shots were. One of them came along here, stopped here. The other one went a little bit, my apologies. First one came through here, and while it looks like it's on this track, it's actually behind there. It exited over here. Second shot came through here, stopped here. Did not expand. You can see where the pre-scored lines, and you probably can't see this on video, I'll get some photos when we get home. You can see that these lines here started to expand just a tiny little bit. It looks as though there's no expansion, but if you compared this to an unfired bullet, the angle of this ogive is just very slightly opened up. Otherwise, obviously, it's still a failure. Which is not surprising. 45 is moving pretty slow, shoot it out of a short barrel, and it's even slower. And even a fairly decent bullet like the UHP is going to have trouble.
Okay, perhaps predictably, there was no expansion. And of course, the failure to expand resulted in excessive penetration at 28.5 inches. That's pretty significant. Does that mean that this is absolute garbage? Well, first of all, we haven't really tested a lot of other short barrel 45 auto. For all we know, this is not too terrible. Remember, 45 auto is a pretty slow cartridge to begin with, and shooting it out of a short barrel doesn't help it out at all. So it shouldn't be too surprising that even a light for caliber bullet just doesn't do very well through heavy clothing. That said, we're not going to leave it here. We're going to continue testing other 45 auto loads through a short barrel and see if we can find something better. I got a feeling there's probably some other loads out there that'll do quite a lot better than this does. All in all, it's not terrible. It did do perfectly in bare gel, which means that it may not be a bad choice for summer carry at the very least, but there's a very good chance that there are other loads out there that will do better. If you disagree with me, if you have some questions, definitely leave a comment below. I'm always interested in hearing your opinions on things. Like, share, and subscribe. I know you hear me saying that all the time, but it is really important to the channel, and it's also important for you to be able to see more gun videos. You know the sort of things that have been happening with YouTube and gun videos lately, and if you like watching videos about guns, make sure that you engage with this video by liking, sharing, commenting, all of that sort of stuff, so that YouTube understands the sort of things you watch, and YouTube shows you more gun videos. Have a great day.